There are three walls here for three different accounts. A Palestinian account, an Israeli account, and a German account.
T-I-O-N.
If you're Palestinian, go to the Israeli wall and to the German wall and write something very short that you expect from the two other groups in general. Yes, I'm an Israeli, but I speak on my behalf. And I know that this expectation is impossible. It's impossible because when I see Anas, when I see you, first thing I want to hug you. Second,
كمل
another hug. And third,
no kiss. ومن مطرحك تخرب.
What have German children born during the Weimar Republic 1918 to 1933 about Germany and the Germans? They mainly told them that they have been victims due to how the Germans and Germany were oppressed by its neighbors. It is clear those who consider themselves only as victims have no capability left for peace, while the others are the perpetrators. When in World War II the bombs fall down on Germany, the Germans completely forgot that they are the perpetrators and that it is created by themselves. They still felt only as victims. Only in the 80s it slowly started that the Germans slowly acknowledged their perpetration. When Willy Brandt, the German Chancellor, went down on his knees in Poland before a memorial of the victims of the Warsaw Ghetto, this brought the whole German guilt into the consciousness of the German people at all levels.
When I finished the museum, when I saw the picture of the kids and the picture of the walls, it's happening already now. So it's not something new. It's not the history. Maybe it's history for you guys, but it's for us. It's happening nowadays. That's it. It's not something like it's strange to see or it's surprising me. It's something normal.
I felt that I have to do a lot to learn more about everything what happened. And yeah, the same than Miriam said, I can't believe that it really happened. I know it happened, but it's so hard to really understand that human beings are able to do such things.
What I felt when I saw the picture, the photograph with Haidam of Janusz Korczak. When I was a child, I read his books, Yotam HaKassam, I don't know how to translate it to English, Hamelech Matya Rishon, the king first Matya. He's not only a Jewish hero, I think he's a teacher I think he is example for all over the world what is humanity, what is to take care, and as you know, he chose to be with the children until the end. And now I saw his photograph again, and immediately I remember all the stories and what happened in the stories, in his stories, and I tell a little bit to Haitem about him. And I feel in one moment, because Haitem told me that he's a social worker, that from this place, that as a social worker, to this man, Janusz Korczak, that I told him about how he treats the children and how he take care and all this story, I think that to one moment there was
Something similar.
something similar and something happened between us for one moment.
It was my first time in the museum, and to tell you the truth, I am happy that I went. What we saw, I think, is as Mahmoud, is very, very evil. It's really evil, and it's a great tragedy. And I could feel, you know, the suffering really. And I was very lucky that my friend and the brother alone was with me all the time, most of the time, and he was explaining and adding some information. So the most impressive picture that I saw was the film about the ghetto of Warsaw, the children who were dying in the streets because of starvation and diseases, and it's really unbelievable. And then they had these measurements to examine who is a Jew. I saw someone examining the length of the head of. Oh, this is too much, I think. I mean, this shouldn't have happened to any nation, really. It's complete genocide. What happened to the Jewish nation, they want to feel safe. They don't want this to happen again. I understand this. But by doing this, by keeping yourself protected and very well looked after, you are treating other nations unjustly, and you are causing another suffering to another nation, which is the Palestinians.
I want you to understand that in Israel, people still have the fear that Arabs want to kick us out. That's the fear that people have in Israel. I'm not, maybe I don't think this way, but a lot of people in Israel think that way. And I think that the source, where it comes from, is from there, because there happened something very, very terrible, very traumatic.
When you say there, what do you mean?
In the Holocaust.
What have the Arabs got to do with the Holocaust? When the state of Israel was established in 1948, and every year you celebrate your independence, that day is the Nakba for us. That day is the disaster for the Palestinians. So this is our narrative. I know your narrative, but you have to understand that there is another side of the coin.
But I mean, I thought that the point of this day was to try and understand the Israeli narrative better, as the point of tomorrow is trying to understand the Palestinian narrative better. But what I feel is that what happened today is that we saw like the Israeli side, but the Palestinians kept their own glasses on, so they couldn't really see what happened there, because they kept comparing.
How can you judge? And David is judging the feelings of other people. How can you judge how other people feel?
That's what I'm asking. What kind of thing that you saw that somebody from the Palestinians is saying or doing made you feel this way, or was it just in your head? Did you feel so when we walked in the Iniyat Hashem?
Well, there was one point. We were talking about, me and Fatma were talking about, what, do you remember where it was? I don't remember where it was.
I don't know the picture, but I think that we have our
our comment
What are
on that picture, and I told you that it's horrible to understand what's happening in the Holocaust, and I feel with Jews and understand what's happening there, the whole picture become more and more clearer for me to understand why the Jews do so with us. But I told you before, I'm not comparing between your
Tragedy?
yeah and ours. I didn't compare. I'm just saying that I feel that this action are in present now. That's what I said. That's why I feel with you, because I feel how Palestinians people are. Never ever I try to hurt you. I'm sorry if you don't understand me well. Many pictures just take me and put me in my situation as a Palestinian girl who is still suffering, and my suffer, I don't think that it will never ever ended. That's why I just ايش يعني انه انا ما كنتش قادره اعيش كاني فرد، وانه في كل الفتره انه مش individual، يعني انه طول الوقت اني كنت حاسه حالي برجع لاصلي المضبوط اللي هو فلسطينيه، ما قدرتش اطلع من هذا الوضع. كنت بني ادم وحسيت فيه
But as a human being, yes, of course,
بس كنت اشوف حالي في كل الصور.
You expect, for instance, that the Palestinians understand much deeper the suffering of the Jews. Yeah, and the Palestinian again expected from the Jews. So this is out of these eyes, looking with these eyes of the victims, it will not bring us further. So we have to overcome it.
I was trying to explain to Haida what Brigitte said. So he said, yes, but since we are still victims and we are at present the victims, it's very difficult to get out from this image. You see?
حرروني من اذا قبل 70 سنه بدون دوله.
تسمع شو بتحكي لو بتقول لك مضبوط. لانك انت حاليا الضحيه، صعب انك تطلع من هذا.
انا ابني دوله بدي اقعد 70 سنه اعيط على الشيء اللي صار من 48 لهلا، وبعد 70 سنه خلص انا بكفيني. ساعتها بموت وبيجي اولادي بيحملوا الرساله من بعدي.
Then you have to understand that the reaction is on the other side, not to feel understood, because you both are in the shoes of the victim. So each side expect to be understood much more from the other side.
Okay, he wants to respond.
في فرق شاسع ما بين أنا أكون عايش هلأ كوني ضحية ويمارس علي الضغط والحرب والاستيطان والتنكيل والهدم والقتل، هلأ أنا عايش فيه. بعد ما اطلع من هون بدي انزل على سلوان، محل ما بنام بدي اسمع طخ، وبدي اعرف انه جوري انحبس، وبدي اعرف قبل بيومين بانه سامر استشهد، وبدي اعرف بانه دار اخوي قبل بسنه انهدت، وما بين قبل 70 سنه بتحكي عن اشي صار. هلا هذا مناش نحكي فيه.
We don't want to talk about.
ونسيناه.
We forgot it.
ومناش نعيش الضحية.
We don't want to live the victimhood.
مضغوط فيها وخلصت.
That I was under tremendous pressure one time and that period is over.
بس لما أشوف قبالي طفل عماله بيعاني بنفس المعاناة اللي أنا كنت أعاني منها قبل 70 سنة أو قبل 67 سنة بالضبط، أول واحد لازم روح يحضنه أنا، لأني حاسس باللي هو حاسس فيه. وبعدين اللي صار بالهولوكوست إحنا كفلسطينيين وكمسلمين ما لناش علاقة فيه. بحس معك كإنسان.
As a human being I feel with you.
بس مش مجبور بأنه أنت تمارس اللي صار عليك قبل 67 سنة علي.
But I don't accept the ill practices that you have been subjected to 70 years ago to be victimized by these practices.
I remembered a talk that I have with my grandfather. It was when I was maybe 15, and my grandfather told me that his generation is very proud to see soldiers. that we have soldiers after what we have been through. And he told me another thing, that his generation can't really look on the Palestinians and see them really, because of the history, because of the. And I remember it was like maybe a few months before he died, and he told me that he hoped.
So his generation cannot see the Palestinians?
Like
cannot understand them?
Cannot understand, and cannot really change the situation. And he told me that he hoped that our generation could see it. And I think this is, for me, this conversation for me was the first seed. Zera?
Seed, yes.
For me, this was the first seed.
I think this is it. This is it. That's the important thing.
Thank you that you did it, because I know it's really, really hard for you. You are thinking about what you're going through now, and to see the other, it's hard for you now.
Yes.
You know it, and it makes me. It's unbelievable that you are here. Even though it's Friday, it's really, really hard and with a lot of anger, and it's not simple. And so it makes me a little bit also optimistic.
Was bist du eigentlich? Du bist doch Arzt.
يعني القرى المهجرة بالنسبة لنا تاريخ.
Destroyed village is history for us.
حضارتنا هي.
Our civilization.
يعني انت لما تشوف القرى المهجرة يمكن اي بني ادم بمر من غاد من عند البيوت المهدمة والمكسرة.
When you see those destroyed and abandoned houses, when you pass by them,
يمكن يعتبرها ديكور ويشوفوا منظر خلاب مع الطبيعة أو إحنا مخلينه هيك.
Someone may consider them as decoration or something you will enjoy by just looking to enjoy the sight of the natural scene.
بس بعرفش بأنه كتير دم نزل تحت هاي البيوت.
But that one won't know that blood was shed in those houses.
إنه ضحايا كتير طلعت على أنقاضها دولة إسرائيل ما تسمى بإسرائيل.
And many casualties. The Israeli state was made or built on those casualties and dead people.
Also a gentleman.
Yes. This is where you used to make the bread, you see. And if you come here, you see some of the villages were completely destroyed. You see nothing.
Yeah.
What's happened in destroyed villages, it's not new for me. I read a lot, I hear a lot, and I knew that, but for me it was the first time that I saw destroyed villages with Palestinians. Many Israelis don't know the word Nakba. They don't know the meaning of the Nakba. In the memory, in the reality, in everyday's life to every Palestinian family. And I'm a Zionist. I say that every time. And I think today you cannot be a real Zionist without to know the truth. First of all, to know the truth.
זה אותו דבר, אבל עם הרגשות שלי אני צריך לחשוב מה מותר לי להגיד ומה אני אגיד וזה יפגע בך. אם נפגע בך, אז חבל.
לא. תשמע, בזמן שבאנו לכאן והלכנו אתמול ליד ושם, היה הרבה דברים בראש שלנו. משהו לעשות, משהו ביחד, משהו, אני לבד, אתה לבד. עכשיו, משהו לעשות ביחד, אנחנו בכל מצעוק ביחד רוצים לעשות שלום במדינה הזאת. חייב להיות שלום במדינה הזאת. ומה אתה יכול לעשות אתה לבד, שאתה מדבר, הגוורמנט שלך.
לבד אני לא יכול.
אתה וישראל שיש עכשיו. אתה וסמלים שרוצים לחיות עם הפלסטינים בשלום, חייב לה שיעשו את זה. גם אני.
The only thing remains from Castle is these ruins up there, you see? That's the only thing left.
supported by the Haganah groups وبالتالي استطاعت القوة هذه انها تسيطر على القرية بعد ما كان ما فيش فيها اي رجل. The result of such help was the total control of this village by the Israeli groups.
We don't really know, and it's really hard because there's so many information sources that you can find, and each one will tell you something different, so it's very confusing.
They evacuated by force. They pushed the women and children out by force, you see, but they didn't kill them.
Okay.
فيها منطقة في المنطقة هاي في نبعين من المياه كانت تزود سكان المنطقة.
The only source of water for the local residents were based on two main springs.
They make me more nervous and crazy to see these tourists coming, make a picnic inside our village, Palestinians' village, and enjoy and had fun. And the people which was live over there, some of them die, some of them, I don't know, probably in Jordan, probably in Syria, probably in Gaza Strip, probably in Lebanon. And they can't come and see where is the parents and the grandfather and the grandmother they used to live.
Part of the places that are kept by the Israelis as how people used to live in the ancient times. Maybe some of them do realize that between those ancient times and today, there's quite a lot of people that live there.
This place, in the same time, it's destroyed a Palestinian village, and all the sign for the tourist doesn't say anything about this village.
The biggest thing for me was to see how much important the Nakba is for the Palestinians. That the tragedy is alive so much. And made me understand that this subject need to be touched. And I saw the way they look at it, but at the same time, I didn't thought that we shouldn't be there. You understand what I'm saying?
חביתה עם בצל ועלמניה.
The thing which is unique here is this mosque. This is a mosque, but it has been turned into a house, and Israelis now live in the house.
This house?
Yes, the mosque, people live in it. This is the minaret. No, he doesn't want us even to take pictures.
Of course they don't like, but it's a public place.
No, it's their
inside.
house.
Inside.
It's their house now.
Yes, but here you can take any picture
Here
you
it's
want.
okay.
As one that grew in a religious house, I know how important a place that you do rituals is for people, and it wasn't easy to see it. Although I know those kind of things are happening. I grew up on stories of what Arabs did till 67 to synagogues, like the Chova, and what they did to the Jew cemetery. So I know how deep it is to see this kind of thing. It's not easy.
Really was very shocked when we see these people live inside the mosque. We know about it, but first time we see it. Because probably if it was just Palestinians over there, maybe they take us to the jail, or they bring for us the police to take us for the jail, and they shoot us, or they beat us, or whatever, probably, or in the hospital, or to the Israelis police.
I don't speak Hebrew.
Don't speak.
I'm German.
Okay. Don't take picture.
Why not?
That's what decide. That's the decide.
No reason?
No.
هيثم
شوف ايش عنصريه جزعنوت يا شاهر انا شدني بقى خلاص جزعنوت يا شاهر
يلا خلاص اوكي روح
شو جاي عندي
والله زاد الحديد يا زلمه انا استنى
ما عادش ندخل دافيد
كلهم بيعرفوا الصح وكلهم مأمنين فينا عشان هيك هم معانا. انساك من واحد متخلف حمار خلص ما تفكرش فيه بالمره. ضلكش معصب خلاص يلا تعال. كلمة كبيرة لأنه عيب أنا بنت.
It's okay.
مجنون. I try to be quiet, and if you see, I take the friend and Haitham and Anas to make him away from these Israeli settlers. But when I come back home and try to sleep, this picture is coming every time.
I think about these crazy men all these 4 days, and I think that sometimes they make crazy things, but what they are doing, it's a collective voice without filters, very direct, violent against us, and dirty words and racist words in Hebrew. And it's show us and show me the real picture of what's happening inside the mind of people.
By the time the Israeli government understands that we, Palestinians, have the right to live in free, have the right to live in respect, have the right to be respected as human beings, the solution will be much more easier to deal with. But until now, they are looking at us as we are like, flies, that killing us as Palestinians is something like killing a fly on the window. That's fine, it's okay. That's the main problem, and that's the main reason why we have that conflict.
So it's difficult for me to convince any Palestinian to come and meet with Israelis and talk about peace at the time when the Israeli government is building more and more settlements and continuing to build the wall, the racist wall. But still, I believe that the only way forward is through dialogue, through meetings, through reasonable understanding of the others' fears and worries, and this is the only way forward.
I think this is one of the problems of the Israeli. All the time, they feel as a victim, and from this point of view, they give to themselves permission to do terrible things. and the Palestinians sometimes are the same. It's two societies, it's in two mirrors, the two societies. I think that FAB understand this point of victimhood. The people from Germany know exactly what is the meaning of the song of victimhood.
But for the Palestinians, I think we the Palestinians have to look deeply into our internal matters and try to solve our own difficulties. If we do that, it will be, more useful for us to have one unity, one government, so that we can sit and talk with the Israelis. If you ask about the source of my commitment for the work of FAB, whenever I see Palestinian children stopped by Israeli soldiers at the checkpoint or here and there and being questioned and humiliated, I think of my own children, and this gives me extra motivation to work harder and try to spread the education for peace and the culture for peace among the Palestinians and the Israelis.
I feel close more than ever to Palestinians, to know them not from the news and not from the newspapers. You meet Palestinians, they want really make peace and against violence more than the Israelis.
The change of regimes in Tunisia, Egypt, and some other states in the Middle East, there is this spirit of freedom and dignity and respect and peace and stopping humiliation, stopping corruption, stopping. It's time that we say stopping the occupation, really. So this is why I work more and more. This gives me more and more insight and motivation to continue with our project.
Well, let's continue.
יאללה, אקפז! כאלה, יותר עתיקים הם כאלה. אקפז, יאללה. אוויר, יא בן! كمل هيك اروح اقفز لا هيك اهون كده مكفز هيك اهون والله ما احنا معودين كلامنا يلا خلاص